Welcome to another season of the Hope Athletics Orange and Blue podcast. My name is Alan Babbitt. I'm the Sports Information Director here at Hope College, where we believe intercollegiate sport is a powerful vehicle for education and personal development. The mission of Hope Athletics is to promote and provide programs defined by academic success, competitive excellence, and transformational experiences. Monthly conversations with members of the Orange and Blue family spotlight their experiences with the Hope Athletics mission. With me today on the Hope Athletic Orange and Blue podcast is American Football Coaches Association and Associated Press All-American linebacker Cole Luhmann, the 2024-25 Hope College Male Athlete of the Year and a 2025 Hope College graduate after majoring in mathematics. Welcome to the Orange and Blue podcast, Cole.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about, we'll start with your journey to Hope College. You hail from Rochester, Michigan, and Stoney Creek High School. Did you always grow up on the east side of the state?
Yeah, always been in Rochester, same house right there on Linwood Avenue, where I've always been. So yeah.
Talk about that and how that shaped you and prepared you for the success you had at Hope College. Just talk first with your family. Was sports something? Obviously, you have, when we'll talk more later about your brother Seth, and I don't know if you have other siblings, but was sports always something that was part of the Lumen family life?
Yeah, it was actually. So my dad was a football coach my entire life, so I've always been around the game football, um, and played as many sports as you could as a little kid. Growing up, soccer, football, basketball, baseball, whatever it was, I wanted to do it. So it was always as a young kid, yes, the sports was a big part of our household, um, and just the way we did things. So yeah.
How did that, how did your experience with that shape who you are and develop? What did you gain from playing those different sports and having a father as a coach? What did you learn from that as far as growing up and how to attack life the right way?
I think through my dad, I saw how to do not only sports but life the right way, and to shows that hard work and discipline gets the job done. There was no cutting corners in coaching. There was no taking the easy way out. So I learned that at a very young age of like, if you're gonna do it to the best of your ability and do it right. And I think that kind of helped me with my mindset and set me up as I grew up for the where I am today.
Now, are you the oldest
I
or
am
okay?
oldest of three. Got a younger brother, Seth, who's going to be a junior here in the fall,
Yeah.
and then a younger sister, Eleanor, who's going to be a senior in high school. So
Okay.
yeah,
What with what did your family do? I know sometimes sports can be all consuming,
yeah.
but it seems like you have a family that found that right balance where you enjoyed every minute of it, but also family was important too. Just tell me about your family as a whole and kind of what they've meant for you along your journey.
Yeah, so my family's been everything. Super faith-based Christian home, which is awesome. So we had that good every Sunday we'd go to church together. Kept that with us. And then being the oldest, like you said, they say you raise your younger siblings, but I feel like they also kind of raised me into the person I
Yeah.
am today, um, which is cool. And that's why I think I'm so like protective of them and just like want to set a good example for them. Um, so yeah, I think my family and my siblings have actually done a ton in who I am today. My grandparents also live really close to where I am, so it was cool to just be around them and have a relationship with them growing up, and just have them support me through everything, whether it was graduation, sports, whatever I was involved in as a kid. So yeah.
Obviously, you enjoyed football. You said you enjoyed a variety of sports. When did you zero in on realize not only that you could, but that you want to take football beyond high school?
I think as a kid, football's always been my number one. It's always been my favorite. But I didn't realize, I think, until high school is when I was like, okay, I could actually kind of go play actual college ball with this. Um, when I got to high school, I played football in the fall, wrestled in the winter, baseball in the spring. Um, and that winter, I remember I'd go to lifting in the morning before school, then I go to wrestling practice, and then I do travel baseball practice afterwards. And I was like, okay, this is too much. This is way too much. So I cut out wrestling and just focused on football and baseball. And then between those two, football is just the one I loved even more. So yeah,
Have you always been a linebacker?
I think deep down, yes. I grew up playing quarterback actually.
Yeah.
And so I think the moment I realized I was going to play linebacker was my freshman year. We were in practice. Obviously, full pads. There's not a ton of rules in the high school, like where now it's got to do shells and be all protective. Um, So we're always hitting and stuff, and I'm running quarterback, and I just run this kid over, and my coach comes up yelling at me like, "You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt. You can't do that." And I was like, "Okay, maybe I'm made for the defensive side of the ball." So that's when I kind of pursued linebacker a little bit more than quarterback.
What have you learned that you've enjoyed about playing that position in particular?
I think it's honestly similar to quarterback,
Mhm.
but just defensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
Kind of the leader, quarterback of the defense, which I like. I love the physicality aspect and just getting to hit people, and just creating chaos. Like you're just trying to disrupt plays, and just make the offense in tough positions. So yeah,
because defense and offense, obviously, different goals, different
yeah,
objectives. Was it something with obviously you talked a little bit about hitting, but something on the defensive side of the ball that really drew you in and causing that chaos that you enjoyed? Like, did you have a favorite like linebacker growing up?
yeah,
In my days it was like Carl Banks
yeah.
and others like that, Lawrence Taylor, where you're like, oh my gosh. But for you, was there somebody that like, oh boy, I like how he plays on the football field at linebacker?
Yeah, so the big one growing up was Ray Lewis, obviously.
Certainly.
But as I got into middle school and high school, I started finding Luke Kuechly a lot.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
when he was at Boston College, I started watching him. And we got picked by the Panthers. I was like, man, I love this guy. Like off the field, he looks like an absolute nerd,
Yeah.
just studying film. But then on the field, he just flipped the switch and was a complete maniac and would just tear it up.
Obviously, you drew attention and became someone that wanted to be, recruited in college. What was your first contact with Hope College and Coach Peter Sturzma and that group and finding beginning that journey to come here?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. I think it was late sophomore year, early junior year. I got a letter in the mail from Coach Ricketts,
Okay.
um, which was pretty cool. Personal letter. I was like, oh, this is sweet. Just like, hey, want to invite me to a game and all that. So that was cool. And then letters kept coming and coming and coming. And I think I ended up with about like 30, 35 letters, which was really cool.
Wow.
No other school that like recruited me had that personal aspect to it, which I thought
Yeah.
was so cool.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of why I kind of leaned towards Hope College more than the rest of them. So yeah,
Yeah. We should say Mike Ricketts, former defensive coordinator here, just a stalwart for the coaching staffs here. And then obviously Jacob Pardnay, one of his players,
yeah.
followed him as defensive coordinator now. When you looked at you obviously got the letters, you got what's the first, do you remember when you came on campus and what you saw and what you remembered, obviously on the field, but also off the field, not just about the game of football?
Yeah. So my parents actually went here, so I've always been familiar with Hope,
Okay.
um, but didn't actually truly dive into like the school aspect until I was like a junior.
Mm.
Honestly, when COVID hit,
Yeah.
so then it got really weird because then the recruiting kind of like stopped because
Yeah.
everyone got extra COVID years, so then they weren't really recruiting my class super heavily. But I remember coming on my official visit here during COVID, um, and campus being completely empty. It was weird.
Yeah.
Um, but the things that I really liked about it, and the reason why I ended up choosing Hope was one, obviously football,
Hmm.
and how personal they were, and like just that feeling of being wanted
Yeah.
during a recruiting process. That's very difficult.
Yeah.
Um, Two, being the class sizes. I didn't want to just be like row 17, seat 3
Hmm.
at a big university. I like the small class sizes and getting that like relationship with professors and just actually applying myself in school. And then three, the face aspect.
Hmm.
Um, I looked at other colleges like Wheaton, for example, was a great school,
Hmm.
um, but they make chapel like you have to go to chapel and you have to
Yeah.
like sign up and scan in kind of thing. And that's what I love about Hope here is like everyone that's in chapel like truly wants to be there,
Yeah.
and truly wants to dive into their faith. And that's why I think what really stood out to me faith wise, like, wow, this is awesome. Like everyone that's here wants it. It's not forced.
The chapel here 3 times a week. What would you describe to someone who has an experience to Hope College Chapel?
Yeah.
What makes it something that's so impactful?
Um, I think it's quick 20, 22 minutes of your day where you get to just stop, um, rest, and just gather with like-minded people that want to just hear Jesus.
Yeah.
Worship 2 or 3 songs, hear a quick little lesson. It's perfect little pause in your day to just hear something special, and then just keep on going. And a quick reminder too, that this is for him. So yeah.
What when you came here, you got here, when did you find that mathematics was a subject that you wanted to study and dive deeper into?
So that's actually funny. Um, I didn't end up majoring in mathematics. Um, I'd started it with it, And then I got to like calculus 3 or 4, and I was like, this isn't even math anymore. Like there's just no numbers, it's all letters.
Yeah.
And so I actually changed to business,
Yep.
and I never updated the roster, but I thought it was cooler to have mathematics because it sounded smarter. So everyone's like, "Oh, you're mathematics." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Kinda."
Kind
So I
of.
kind of roll with it. But yeah,
What was it about business you found? I mean, that's part of college
yeah,
is discerning. You may think you come into college, I want to study A, and then suddenly you realize, well, and then you find B, and then you're on a path to B. What was it about business that you found was the right, fit for you of a course for study?
yeah. I think when I realized math wasn't maybe for me, um, that uncertainty of like, shoot, what do I do? And with
Yeah.
business being such a broad subject,
Hmm.
there's lots of different things you can do with it: marketing, sales, HR, like all this stuff. So I was like, man, I'll just go into that and then I'll figure it out as I go. Which was awesome. Like the business department here is awesome. It offers so many different courses to you get to see all those different types and styles. So yeah, I think that's why I leaned in it, and yeah, that was awesome.
At Hope College, we believe intercollegiate sport is a powerful vehicle for education and personal development. The mission of Hope Athletics is to promote and provide programs defined by academic success, competitive excellence, and transformational experiences. The Orange and Blue Fund exists to support this mission for more than 500 student athletes each year who participate in Hope athletic programs. Our student athletes and teacher coaches are passionate about using sport, academics, and service to shape their time at Hope College. Your gift to the Orange and Blue Fund may be used in leadership development, transformational experiences, and enhancements to facilities and equipment and technology. Give online to the Hope Athletics Orange and Blue Fund at hope.edu/orange and blue. When you take me back to your first practice, you guys report and then you get on the field. What do you remember about that and like how you felt? Because that can be some guys are really confident with it, and some athletes that come here or anywhere, they're like really confident, and then sometimes you realize, oh my gosh, there are so many good teammates around
Yeah.
me that you realize, okay, and then there may be some doubt that creeps in. Was it like for you, and then how did you deal with any of those uncertainties that you might have had in yourself when you got around the other guys and realized, the talent level that you were playing with?
Yeah. One, guys are big here. Like we got some big dudes,
Yeah.
which I mean, we had some big dudes in high school, but like to see like 120 guys that are just love football and want to be here, in our studs. Like these are all the guys that were studs at their high schools,
Hmm.
brought to one big team, which is awesome. Um, so I think there is hesitation of like also I'm 18 years old and there's 22, 23-year olds right here with me, in the same drill. So I think there's just that of like uncertainty of like what's next, like how am I going to fit in kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
What get involved with the linebacker? How did you, when you got here and you got into it and dove into it, how did you go from someone that was a freshman to someone who became, an All-American and really over 3 seasons contributed a lot defensively and got on the field a lot? What was your approach? And then how did you see that come together? And then for things to come together with a special season that your team had, but also that you had this past fall.
yeah. I guess start looking back at freshman year. Um, I didn't play at all. Never stepped on the field once. The 2 weeks had a chance to get on, I was out with COVID.
Okay.
So it was just an experience of like, man, this is like, it doesn't, am I ever going to get a chance to play?
Yeah.
Um, but I think that freshman year was nice. It was a learning perspective just to like kind of sit back and like get a bird's eye view of like everything that goes on.
Mhm.
See how the starters learn, see how they watch film, just get to adapt and kind of fit into this place, how felt like I would. And then sophomore year is kind of when it changed. I got in this mindset of like, I want this, I want to go play, from not stepping on the field since senior year of high school. So I just kind of put my head down and worked. Like kind of just that summer just went to work, and yeah, and then just kept building off it each year, and then yeah, building relationships and getting this team together the way it was, like it was this year. This year was awesome. It was cool to be part of. I've been a part of good teams, but this team was great. There was like this togetherness, this bond, um, of how we just all work together in one. Like I think of those rowboats, and how all the paddles are in
Yeah.
sync, just like that. It's just that's how it felt like we were moving. So yeah,
Obviously, special season, first unbeaten or second unbeaten regular season, first 10-0 regular season, first playoff win, and then when you went toe to toe with the eventual national champion in North Central College. When did you realize with that last year from the whether at camp or when you got to a game or two that you realized, okay, obviously we've been good, but this team has a chance to really leave its mark in a unique way? When
Yeah,
was it you realized you guys thought, okay, we've been good, but this is a little different good?
man. There's so many moments that stick out, and I gotta go with homecoming here against Adrian. Um, I don't know why, but like I think looking back on the years, we always struggled against Adrian.
Yeah.
Um, and to just absolutely demolish them this year, and just put them in the ground, it was like this whole turn of like, okay, we are kind of owning them. And I think, I mean, since week one, we were rolling, which was
Yeah.
cool to see. But it didn't really sink in until that MIAA play when stuff really mattered. Um, but I think Adrian's when it's really stood out to me, like, shoot, this is a really special season. We got to keep going.
Looking back on it, obviously when you're in the middle of the season, you're so focused on the next practice, the next play, the next, that's just how you have to
Yeah.
be wired to succeed in this game in particular. But looking back and having a few months to reflect on that, what are you gonna take away about that season? That will be the first thing that comes to mind when you think about the 2024 Flying Dutchman football team.
Um, that's a really great question. My initial thought is our defensive motto, which is win the next one. Um, so regardless of how good, bad, or that just play went, how are you going to go about the next rep? Whether it's the next day in life, the next rep in practice, next rep in the game, how are you going to go about it and attack the next rep? No matter what happened behind you, how are you going to look forward? Which is something that I think not only applies to sports but applies to life, um, and it's just a huge mindset change.
That playoff game, Aurora. We're looking out here at Haringa Center now, looking out on a nice warm and sunny, and that was not the case. It was
No,
cold, and you guys had this breakthrough moment for this program to win the first NCAA playoff game in tournament history. What do you remember about that game and what it mean for you and your teammates to put that notch up that, it was, you know what, we can win in the playoffs too?
yeah. I think, I mean, first off, playing in feet of snow is just awesome. As a kid, like you're playing in the backyard with siblings and cousins, like dreaming of that. So just to have that atmosphere, the fans are just packed. That just set the tone. That was awesome. And then knowing obviously first playoff wins on the line, is just even more. But to leave that stamp and that staple here, especially home field, it was awesome. Um, yeah, that's one for the record books too. So it's just awesome.
Your coaches, you talked, excuse me, being recruited by Coach Ricketts. He retired and Coach Pardonay comes. And then just talk about the coaches you worked here that helped you become the linebacker you became. How did they help draw the best out of you and the other linebackers to be such a force on this defense?
Yeah. Coach Pardonay was huge. Um, Ricketts was awesome. Just this defensive guru and just knew it all. One thing I loved about Coach P though was like he was in our shoes like 5 years ago. So like he understands what it is to be a Hope College football player, and even a linebacker. Um, so just bringing his young, energetic mindset, and just be able to relate with us, was just the first step in just that connecting, and just building that really tight relationship. Um, and then he just eventually each year he just kept getting better and better at the X and O's. It was just awesome to see him grow, and just put us in the right positions to succeed. And then once he put us there, we were able to get the job done, which was awesome. I love getting to draw up on the whiteboard with him, and just see how his mind works because it's so cool. Yeah,
Obviously, in coach, in football, you need football, special teams, and offense to all work together and play off each other. You also need someone, as we have in business, with a CEO that's
yeah,
leading everyone and pulling all the groups together so that rowboat stays moving in the direction. Talk about Coach Sturzma and what he does to connect with linebackers or safeties or incoming freshmen, guys on special teams
yeah.
to have, obviously everybody knows he's legendary for his energy.
Yeah,
But it's not just he's just a rah guy. He has a way of connecting with everyone, no matter if they're a big offensive lineman or a kicker.
yeah.
Just talk about Coach Sturzma and what he's done, not only to help you guys as football players, but then as young men, and then as students here at the college.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like you said, the energy. I think it's easier to approach someone with energy and a lot of extroversion to him, and all that coffee he drinks. But just that, like seeing him take time out of his day to talk with us one on one every once in a while. Like the amount of times I've been in the training room and he'll come up to me and be like, "Hey, how was class today?" Or like see him go talk to other guys about like class, work, like whatever it is. Oh, like how's your job applications going? Just like stuff like that. Just to see him connect on a deeper level and not just football. Um, because once he steps on that field, he's a football coach. But off of this, he's just a guy that's just trying to connect and help us get to that next step in our life. So, um, just seeing how he connects with everyone in different ways. Like we got a couple guys that love to surf or skateboard, like, and seeing him just talk with that and that, it's cool. So yeah,
What obviously you're here, you enjoyed a full football career. Well, when you come here, it's being part of the big part of it. Maybe the bigger part in terms of time is being a student. How did you navigate with everything you're doing with the commitment that is football, and during the season and then the off season, and then with your studies to be able to stay on top of those? You graduated last May. What did you find was the secret for you to be able to get the most out of your full college experience and not just the football side of things?
yeah. I think that having a work-life balance. They say work-life balance, but
Yeah.
it's school life balance, I guess. Um, can be extremely tricky coming in. Like I remember freshman year struggling at first, and just like shoot, when do I do my homework? Like because you have practice the afternoon, you wake up early for lifting, so you have to carve out time throughout your day to do homework. And I've never done that because school's always 7 to 3 growing up.
Yeah.
So just the school wise, it was hard to just figure out of like, okay, I got to get this stuff done. What's on priority and get that done. Um, and then I also worked a job here, which was awesome. I met some great guys at the transportation department,
Mhm.
and just made some extra money. Um, but also just trying to balance that, was tricky too. But it's just cool to meet people outside of football and just how their life is here, and just get that perspective, which I really enjoyed.
Obviously, we've talked about some of the coaches here on campus. I know Coach Sersma puts a very high priority on the other people and being this football program being showing gratitude for the other parts of whether it's transportation or food service and all of
Yeah,
those, or whether it's professors. Who are some of the? There's someone that I'm sure there's a ton that contributed and poured into you
yeah.
here at Hope that really you're going to remember and are extra appreciative of as you move on to your next chapter.
Yeah. I mean, obviously transportation guys, like I said, I've worked there since freshman year. So I've have a great relationship with them. Um, but also I think like of a teammate, couple teammates pop in my head as Adam Gill,
Mhm.
graduated my sophomore year. It was just an absolute amazing role model for me. And just guided me along the way through that process of starting, um, and just being so supportive. It was just amazing to witness. And then Coach Sturrs, obviously, for his amazing, energetic self,
Yeah.
and just connecting with all of us and building relationships, that will just last for a lifetime. Professors, that's obviously like I talked about the small class sizes, you're able to
Yeah.
do that. Um, I think of like Chad Carlson and just being able to talk sports with him and a couple other my professors that stick out, and it was just so easy to just talk with them because they know what's going on around here. They know who I am personally, and then me just getting to also know them, which was awesome.
I know another big part of the people here are, we're looking right across the hall at the athletic training room.
Yeah,
I'm sure you spend a lot of time,
yeah,
especially as you get older, even though you're
yeah,
still young, that body in the football game adds up. Let's talk about the athletic training
yeah.
and what they, mean to this program.
Yeah, I guess that's my bad for leaving them out. But
Yeah.
TK, Eric, Mariah, they all do an amazing job in there. Um, honestly, I think that was half the reason for so much of my success is staying healthy. My junior season, I battled injuries since day 3 of camp.
Mm.
Whether it was a hamstring, a bruised arm, sprained ankle, I was dealing with it all. So I spent every day junior in there with them, and then I was like, you know what? I'll just do it senior year too, and just keep my body right to help prevent it. And so that's what I did. So just getting to build with them, and then have them see me grow was pretty sweet. And just like Eric and I go golfing all the time. So um, it's this cool relationship that we built. And then just working out with them, doing cardio Tuesdays we did in the off season to get ready for this year. Um, and yeah, they do a phenomenal job in there getting us right. And just seeing them interact with other athletes too,
Yeah.
like women's basketball, tennis, golf, like all these other teams are in there too. And just seeing that they all want the best for us, and want to get us back out there as soon as possible.
Obviously, a little different for you this summer. You're not training for a
Yeah.
football season for the first time, probably since you were maybe before you even started
Yeah.
football. What's the transition been like, and kind of what's next for you? What are you looking to do now that you've graduated from home?
Yeah. So transition at first felt fine. Like it was like, oh, we're going to spring and this is how it usually is. We go to spring and then summer hits and it's like, okay, we're not working out as intensely as we used to. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously I love working out, so I still do, but yeah, it's not the same. It's weird. And now with fall right around the corner, it's like, man, this is weird. So it's starting to hit in a little bit more. Um, with future stuff, I really obviously love sports and I
yeah,
want to stay around sports. So I'm looking to get in the sports industry. Still waiting to hear back from a couple companies, but it's really fascinating to see how much stuff you can do in the world. Like
yeah,
especially the business world. Like I said, it's so broad. I didn't realize that it's that broad. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, it's cool. Hopefully get in the sports industry somewhere. And definitely come back here and watch some football. So
There are some freshmen that are coming in this fall that are going to be reporting by the time we're recording here in late July, and it'll be August 1 when we're hearing this, and then football players report on August 12th. There's going to be some freshmen that are coming there that were like you 4 years ago.
yeah,
Thankfully, without a pandemic, kind of
yeah,
shaking up the apple cart. But what advice would you give to them coming here? And obviously, you'll probably see them and share with them if they want to get the most out of their Hope experience, whether or not they become an All-American or not, or whatever they do, that by the time their 4 years are done, they're going to feel as good about their Hope College experience as obviously you feel.
yeah. Two things pop in my head. One being Hope is full of opportunities. Whether it's on the football field or not, you can get involved in so many different ways and meet so many great, amazing people that can lead to like great relationships and great jobs down the road, which is super awesome. And then two, I guess more of a mindset kind of thing is life is hard. Like no matter what you do, each day is hard. And it just life is about making choices. And it's like, okay, do I wake up early and get up and work out? Or do I do sleep in and then we have to work out later? Like you're still gonna have to make choices, and whichever way you go, it's gonna be hard. It's just you got to choose your heart, um, and how you want to move. So yeah,
And obviously, another part of the Hope experience is Phelps Dining Hall. What is should be their go-to dish if they're
oh,
like they need fuel, but they want something that makes you make gives makes them feel good. Would you tell them to order
all
going to
right.
Phelps?
I guess not the best fuel. My
Yeah,
favorite meal there would be the chicken tenders and
yeah,
mac and cheese combo. That is a great combo. Fuel wise, definitely the pasta. The
yeah.
pasta corn is pretty solid. Can't go wrong there. So yeah.
That's some good advice, and we appreciate Cole you spending time with us on the Hope Athletics Orange and Blue podcast. We'll looking forward to it's hard to believe, but early September, Hope football team will kick off, and look forward to seeing Cole in the stands and seeing that. So thanks for joining us today, Cole.
Yeah, thanks for having me.